Hi everyone, Mr. Chalman here. We're going to be talking about range in this one. The last one we talked about domain, now we're going to be talking about range. Now, just like I was saying earlier, domain is this way and range is this way. So we go domain, range. Now, if we're talking about range in this function, we're talking about all the vertical possible values. So all the possible y inputs, right? Now remember what I was saying, these are the y values over here, and these are the x values over here. X are almost always our inputs, and y's are almost always our outputs. Just funny math words for kind of meaning the same thing. Okay, so we're talking about these values, right, of our function. Now, if we were talking about all the y values on this graph and not just talking about our function on this actual plane that we're talking about, we would be like, oh, negative infinity to positive infinity, right? Because these numbers go on and on and on forever, both ways like this. However, not all those numbers are on our actual line right here, okay? So we're just talking about the vertical or just the values that lay on our line, okay? So just like the last one, when I drew those lines at the beginning and the end of our line, and I drew them down onto the x-axis to see what the domain was, we're going to do the same thing vertically, right? So we're going to go ahead and grab the endpoints. So here's a little point right here on the end of the function, and here's another one at the other end, okay? And we're going to draw those lines onto this x-axis right here, or the y-axis, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a little dotted line that goes all the way over there, and this tells me where my function starts, right? So this is the start of the range. The range starts at +1. Okay, now if I go all the way up to the top of this function, the highest value, the highest point, and I draw another line back to the y-axis, you'll see that it goes to 6. Okay, so the range are all the possible y values on our graph, or function. We'll call it function at this point. Okay, so your y values are also known as your output values, right? And in this case, the range, right, specifically in our function right here, range is from 1 to 6, or you could say y equals 1 to 6. You could write this a multitude of different ways, but for now, let's just stick with writing it as a sentence. Okay, so these are the possible y values, and notice that this is a straight line, right? It's not like chunked into pieces, or it's not like dots that are disconnected. So this means all the little decimal values in between the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 6, all those little tiny values are all part of our range. Okay. Hope this helped. Email me if you have any questions, or your teacher.